Do we have Martin with us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Great, thank you. Thank you for staying.
Yes.
And I just want to weave into this conversation, right from this bit about accountability and following processes. There's also the angle, and I am talking here about what has been happening with Francis Xavier Sosu, just to weave into that conversation very quickly. You know it better than I do, what he said. You're a lawyer, and so is he. He says, if you're a political judge, you will be dealt with politically when there is a change of power. The Association of Judges and Magistrates have responded to him that he's being ignorant because, first of all, the tenure of judges does not run along with political tenures. He, in a riposte, has come to say he is even willing to sacrifice his career if it means, speaking the truth. But let's go back to his comments. Political judges being dealt with politically. We've had some judges dealt with in this country, 3 of them losing their lives. How do you react to these comments? What do they mean to you as a lawyer? And the sort of response from the GBA and the group of judges and magistrates now hauling him before the General Legal Council. How do you react to that entire development?
Okay, yeah, Mr. Ataku, what's happening is that to the extent that the GBA has issued a statement and now the Magistrates and Judges Association has said they are going to the General Legal Council, what's going to happen is that we all have to hold our horses. The time for further condemning or explaining the statement is over. At this stage, it's been very clear that something is going to happen at the General Legal Council. So it's no longer in my place to comment on it. Let's give Mr. Sosu his day in court. Yes, that's what due process requires of us. Yes, that's what I can say for now.
So from where you sit, I mean, are there political judges?
Hey, at this stage, as I stated earlier, it's too late now. It's always been that once there's going to be a committee or something is going before a court, let the process run its course. Yes, let the process run its course because the judges have made it clear that they are going to the General Legal Council. So usually in the best, traditions of our profession, the time for commentary on the statement is over because Sosu is going to face the General Legal Council. So we shouldn't be making statements that will either prejudice his case or going to support him, because that way then it means that we are not allowing the process to take its course.
I get exactly where you're coming from, especially because of where you sit. But maybe just to run this by you very quickly, if you look at his response and what he says about the fact that he is willing to sacrifice his career on the altar of speaking the truth. How prudent is that for you?
As for that statement, Mr. Ataku, what it means generally from where I sit is that you hear this popular statement that from time to time, the tree of democracy is watered with the blood of patriots and villains. The tree of democracy is watered with the blood of patriots and villains. So these things usually happen. If you read history, Kwame Nkrumah, you remember the time Kwame Nkrumah was arrested, some people were very happy. Oh, Peteku has been driven away and all that. But Kwame Nkrumah eventually got us independence. People sent a delegation to the Queen in London to say, oh, we are not ready for independence. Yet Kwame Nkrumah went ahead. There are so many things. So usually, if you hear somebody say, I want to sacrifice, it just resonates with the saying that the tree of democracy is watered with the blood of patriots and villains. Yes, that's why it is.
Martin, we'll leave it here. And if you have any further comments on, I know you have to move on, so if you don't have any comments, for example, on the minorities call for an immediate suspension of hikes in electricity prices. I mean, if you have a take on that, I would take it so that I can take leave of you and just wrap with the two gentlemen on this matter. Do you have any take on that matter?
Electricity, that one I didn't see it. I've not read
So the minority is basically calling for tariffs to be reduced, asking the PURC to go through certain laid down processes because some increments have been profit. But generally, looking at the fact that we're paying X amount for utilities so far, fuel prices are going up. It said that 3.6 million people are facing hunger in Ghana. What would be your quick reaction to that? An elevation in the electricity tariffs?
Oh, well, the general situation now is that Ghanaians are really suffering. You see, times are very hard. So anything that seeks to make it even harder for us is something that we cannot bear. So that's the general, principle, that we are really stretched to our limit. So nothing should be brought that will make it even harder for us. Government should look at other innovative ways of covering any extra costs if same have come up.
Mr. Kwewu, thank you so much for your time with us this morning. I wish you the best of the day.
Yeah, well, good.
All right. So let me come to you, Collins, on those two issues. Let's put them together as we wrap the conversation, since I've already done that with Martin. Francis Xavier Sosu uttered what he did. How bad, how reprehensible, or how appropriate were those words? And the reaction so far, what are you looking forward to?
I know Francis. We're in Legon together. And I know he's a fighter. When I say fighter, I mean fighter in quotes. He loves all the time to defend his position and all that. But I've said this.
Hi, everything good? Oh, okay.
I've said this, and I've said this on a number of platforms that we, the young politicians...
I noticed, Collins, you might have to start again. We're getting some interference. I don't know whose connection is interfering, but if you could just start with your submission again. You've known Francis Xavier Sosu. Yeah, please go ahead.
I've known him from our days in Legon, and I know he's a fighter. And by fighter, I mean he loves to defend his points very forcefully, human rights lawyer, and all that. But I've made this point that we, the young ones, we, the young politicians, we have to try as much as possible to help chart a new path with our political discussions and commentary.
Right.
I've read his letter, and I find some of the words that he used quite disturbing. And if, with your permission, I would like to read. If you go to page 2 of his response to the GBA, he says, and I quote, "It is very sad that the leadership of the GBA, which was established by the Constitution of Ghana and historically known to be the champions of rule of law, accountability, and social justice, has reduced itself to yet another useless institution of our democratic process in these days and times." I thought he could have made his point without a reference to the GBA as a useless institution. Yeah. You know, when you do this, then the discussions changes its dynamics.
You feel he was calling for trouble? He was calling for trouble then?
I mean, why do you call an association that you're a member of useless? You can disagree with what they have said without necessarily being insulting.
Right.
That is my point. I don't have a problem with his defense and defense. I don't have a problem with his defense of a stand. I don't have a problem at all. But I think that defense could have been done in a more decorous manner, rather than referring to them as a useless institution and all that. First of all, who are political judges? He just made the statement that if a judge behaves politically, he's going to be treated politically, without giving us any evidence. Who is a political judge? Can Francis name any judge that he can confidently say that this judge is a political judge? I think statement like that. I mean,
Bawa has raised his hand in the studio, and I don't think he wants to mention any names. But right,
I'm not sure Bawa will have the courage to mention any judges, because I'm not so sure there's an evidence to show that this judge is a political judge. Right. I mean, all judges, even Supreme Court judges, even the Electoral Commission, they all vote. They all vote. So obviously, everybody is aligned to one political party or the other. But I believe very strongly that when judges sit in court to execute their job, they do so professionally. It does not necessarily mean that if me, Collins, an MPP member of parliament, I'm in trouble and I go to court and a judge who voted for the MPP, and because I'm MPP MP, he should necessarily put aside his professional conduct. And
okay.
I think Francis can fight his fight or put across his defense, no matter how strongly he feels about it, without necessarily resorting to words like a useless institution and all of that. I wish him well.
Thank you.
He's a friend. I wish him well, and I hope that the General Legal Council will be lenient on him.
All right. You pray they'll be lenient with him. Interesting submissions at that. Bawa, you have the last bite.
Yeah.
Our time is...
how many minutes do I have? I want to do both, so that's what I'm saying. So how many minutes?
You have a minute and a half.
No, that's not possible. It's not possible.
No, I am moderator here, and you have a minute and a half.
You see, because I need to make it, and I'm needed to talk about this thing.
So divide it into 45 seconds each.
First and foremost, let me state that we have fantastic judges around.
Right.
Who have really held the profession and made Ghanaians respect the institution. However, we have also had history of judges who simply do not meet the test of being a judge.
Like whom?
Be patient. You have had judges who have, by their own pronouncements that they make when they are not seated. You know, recently the issue of one of the Supreme Court judges who, before the election 2020, when he was seated instead because he's a chief, made some comments.
It was out of context, wasn't it? He was
no, I'm coming. I'm just making a point. What Francis indicated very clearly was that if you choose as a judge, you choose to behave like a politician, you'll be dealt with like a politician. That's all that he said. If the cap fits you, wear it. If the cap fits you, wear it. Indeed, it is important that as a group of people, we should begin to start looking critically at the judges. Until analysis, expose. Anytime you even accuse somebody of corruption, you remember the late Larbimi, you remember Professor Tuga, and then Amalba, when they went and then addressed a particular workshop of a CBD and indicated that there were judges who were corrupt, they took them all to the Ghana Legal Council, saying that they should come and prove it. Lo and behold, after a year, they saw that judges were collecting goats and other things as bribes to be able to deal with people who had offended the law. So this is a group of people who have been so protected that anytime you even open your mouth to say anything, everybody jumps on you. But now the GBA. See the GBA. The reason why I have no challenge in what Francis Sosu says is the fact that GBA has been in this country, people's rights are being abused, you have the constitution thrown to the dogs, and the leadership of the GBA has not found it necessary to even run a commentary on it. But they have all the strength.
Must they comment on everything?
So why are they there? Why are they there? In the past, we have had GBA talking about issues about free speech, issues about human rights abuse. GBA will come out forcefully to state their position. And that is what we have known the GBA for. Right. For GBA today to be quiet, only for an individual to talk about the obvious, then you jump and issue a statement. Francis was very kind in his words. Me, I'm not a member of their groups. I can tell them. Francis was very kind in his words. If it were me, I would have just told them. They are hypocrites.
The judges are hypocrites?
No, I'm talking about the GBA. They are hypocrites.
Right.
They're just a bunch of hypocritic individuals who are just there.
All right.
Now back to this. Look.
Edward, we don't have all the time.
No, just
in 30 seconds, just wrap up.
Look, let me tell you. You have a situation where certain service charges have been increased without the approval of PURC, as stated by the law.
Right.
I can state 7 of them and give you the previous prices and current prices. Just 7, and then we'll go. Straight line connection. As we are going to do straight line connection.
Let's just look at them. Straight line, then you mentioned.
Straight line connection. 400, it was 400 for single phase, 700 for three phase. Now it is 1,020 and 1,920. You look at one pole extension, just one pole extension. It was 2,400 for single phase. Now it's 2,900. And then the three phase one, It was 4,000, it's now 4,400.
These are details yesterday,
Yeah.
Honorable Jinapo.
Yes.
Out there,
so you see that some of them have gone even as much as about 200% in terms of increment. At a time when PURC by law is supposed to be regulating these things. So how on earth can ECG issue a statement saying that effective 1st February, they were going to increase these service charges without PURC doing that? And I'm telling you, in the next 2 weeks, PURC is coming out with their major, tariff review.
Right.
And Ghanaians should brace themselves for this because you see, this increment has a direct effect on rent.
Okay.
It has a direct effect on the cost of
Edward Bauer, Member of Parliament for Bongo, making his point there. Collins Adomako, Member of Parliament, Ifija Kwabre North. Collins, thank you so much for staying with us.
Thank you too. And I'm waiting for Bauer in the chamber. He's heated up too much.
And of course, we also had Martin Kwebu, a lawyer, join the conversation.